C'est magnifique ce soir, cette expérience. C'est absolument unique pour moi. C'est une grande occasion pour moi. Et avoir beaucoup des amis et collaborateurs anciens et nouveaux. Madame, ma chère amie distinguée, Chancellor Huguette Labelle, Recteur Gilles Paltry, et tous les amis et invités qui y assemblent here, ici. I can't tell you how moved I am and how delighted I am to be here this evening. I don't get as many chances as I would like to be back home in Canada. And this is one that I will remember as long as I live. I'm delighted to see so many friends in this group and so many distinguished Canadians, which remind me that Canada has earned its distinguished place in the world, for which people like us who work in the world benefit just by being Canadians, because we have produced leadership. We have produced leaderships that command respect. We don't always respect them at home. We keep our leaders humble and modest. But by world standards, what is distinctive about Canada and what we who serve Canada in the world are so proud of and benefit from to such an extent is that we do produce leaders. And I can't tell you what a great honor it is for me to have been selected for this award, which I still have not deserved, but will be inspired to continue to try to earn. I want to single out a couple of leaders. I could single out many in this audience who have contributed to my life in many ways, but I'd like to mention two. One is the father of the man who spoke earlier this morning, brought me into government, the Honourable Paul Martin, the father of the young man who spoke to us this evening. I had, as a very amateurish civil servant, when I came to Ottawa from Montreal, where I was in business, I had the great privilege of serving under two people who taught me what leadership was. Two very different people, but two very great Canadians. One was Paul Martin. I served as a relatively junior deputy minister to him, followed by the Honourable Mitchell Sharp. Sadly, and my friendship with Mitchell Sharp has been an enduring one. I'm just delighted to see him here tonight. He is a true leader. And, you know, it was really quite a bit of paradox. I was an amateur deputy minister, and he was a professional, the ultimate civil servant, my minister. That's the reverse. Usually the ministers are the amateurs, and those who serve as deputies are the professionals. Well, he taught me an awful lot, and I'm still learning. I would like to ask the question, what is leadership after all? I have pondered this since hearing to my surprise that I was to receive this award. I'm deeply grateful at this additional very special link with the University of Ottawa, which has made such a distinctive and notable contribution to the development of leadership in the areas to which my own life has been devoted. I've been involved in many seminars and drawn on the experience and expertise in the development and environment fields in particular from the University of Ottawa. The honor of being selected as one of the recipients of this award is immensely compounded by my esteem for the company in which I am receiving it. There's no question that the other three really have earned this award. I wish I could feel as confident that I deserved it, but it doesn't in any way diminish my sense of commitment to trying. Stephen Lewis, Paul Tellier, Hilary Weston. Real, true Canadian leaders, I'm proud to be amongst you. You're a great inspiration for me. You're a great, great, great example for all Canadians. Each in your own way exemplified the qualities of leadership to a degree to which I have aspired but could not begin to match. What then are the qualities that define leadership? To me, briefly, leadership is to develop and hold clear goals and values, to exemplify them in your own life and inspire others to do so. Leadership is to articulate goals and objectives and to illuminate the pathway to reaching them. Leadership is to be clear and uncompromising in the basic principles which motivate your conduct, yet pragmatic and flexible in their application. Leadership is to listen, to be open to persuasion by others without yielding to coercion or flattery. Leadership is to invoke the trust and the confidence of others. In my current work for the United Nations, very sensitive situation between North Korea and the United States and South Korea and others, indeed perhaps even the international community. You know, it is really quite interesting to win the trust of people even though you do not share their ideology, you do not share their beliefs. But to win their trust and confidence is really absolutely essential in a world in which we no longer can tolerate the kind of conflicts that are so destructive. Weapons of mass destruction, we must remember, are in the hands of people who make the weapons and people who yield the weapons. It's the trust and confidence amongst people that really will ensure the peace and security of the world. Leadership is to exemplify and project integrity. Leadership is clarity and consistency in both articulation and in action. Leadership is walking the talk. Leadership is living up to the highest and the best that you know and helping others to do the same. Leadership is a product more of what you are and what you do than what you say. Leadership cannot be asserted or imposed or just assumed. It must be earned through the response of others to the example that we set. This award, which I accept with deep gratitude and humility, will give impetus to my own continuing struggle to live up to these standards. Those of us who have benefited from life in the greatest, best place in the world to live and grow up, Canada, have an immense responsibility, particularly when we're out in the world, to try and exemplify the best of our nation. You know, I've had some good experiences in my life. Let me just quickly share one of them that goes to the question of leadership. In Rio de Janeiro in 1992, some of you may recall, we assembled more world leaders than had ever assembled at any time to that point. 117, I believe, total. And it was a 2-week affair. And between the 2 weeks, I wanted to escape with my wife, so we went out to a little place on the edge of Rio de Janeiro, and we thought, well, maybe we can get away from it all just for change. Well, we were having a nice dinner, and a lady came up to me and said, "You're Mr. Strong." Well, I admitted it. And she said, "Tell me, how many world leaders are there actually here?" And I said, "Well, I count about 117 presidents, prime ministers, and a couple of kings. And but I said, very few leaders." Now, that got me in a bit of trouble because I didn't realize she was a journalist. However, like a lot of faux pas, it had its roots in truth. And the point is that not all the people who are leaders, in fact, not even most of the people of the leaders, achieve high political office. And not all people in high political office are really leaders. Leadership is not the office you hold. Some of the most influential leaders in my own life, like my school principal, who shepherded me through the early stages of my life that have made such an impact on me, these are leaders. And I can't tell you how much Canada is a product of leadership. We don't look at leaders as being dramatic and flamboyant. We don't really like dramatic and flamboyant leaders. We know how to deal with them, keep them modest. But Canada has a host of leaders. And the fact that the University of Ottawa, this great Canadian university, is honoring leadership, and the fact that you have made the gesture towards recognizing the service that I've tried to perform with the help of so many people, I'm just delighted to be part of it. I'm just delighted to have this opportunity to recommit myself to living up to the high standards that you are setting for me and which I feel I have yet to achieve. Je vous remercie beaucoup.